Hello, and welcome to another Precision Flyer Repairs video. This one is about two post-war American Flyer 484 Union Pacific number 336 supermotor equipped steam engines. These were both sent to me by the same customer, and both required a lot of work, but I think they've revived very nicely and will make him happy and do themselves proud on the high rails of S-Gauge once again. Now, the one has the 4-plug board and separate fifth wire, and the other one has the permanently connected 4-color plastic coated wire with a fifth wire. They did come both ways, and I'm not sure if, I think the 4-pin plug board model came earlier than the 5-wire direct connected in terms of production releases. They both, as I mentioned, have what are referred to as the large or 3/4 inch, or I believe by AC Gilbert Marketing as the super motor, and they are actually quite super. This engine was produced in 1953 through 1956 by Gilbert, and in only one of those years, 1953, was it produced with the small motor or the large motor. And after 53, it came only with the large motor, and I think that's highly suitable. This is a long, heavy, and with the right motor in it, strong steam engine, but I think it's a tall order to ask the small motor to stand up to. As I mentioned, they both needed considerable work. They've all had their drive wheels taken off, their chassis degreased, the drive wheels disassembled into each of the 3 components. Their Pullmore rims were shot, so they have excellent to like new condition original AC Gilbert Pullmore rims on their rear drive wheels. In the one case, its armature was shot. There ought to not be any continuity between the segments of the armature and the shaft, and in that case there was. There ought to be a consistent 0.8 to 1.0 ohms of resistance segment to segment, and in that case there wasn't. Fortunately, I had an excellent condition original AC Gilbert American Flyer large motor armature that measured out exactly the factory specs, and so that was installed instead. And reverse units overhauled, and general rebuilding. And as I mentioned, I think they came out well. Now, I call the title of this video Dueling 336s. It's not like I'm going to actually have them duel against each other. First of all, they're not mine. And second of all, they're too precious to put in any kind of hazardous situation. But I am going to run both. One is going to have a passenger train on it, and the other, as you can see, a classic post-war American Flyer freight consist. And I'll leave it up to you then which of these two you like better. One thing when I'm making these videos is I can do my best to control the camera, control the switches, and my mouth, although that's arguable. And yet at the same time I can't vary the throttles. That just becomes too much. A man's got to know his limitations. So I do preset the inner and outer loop throttles to what looks as though both engines are going to manage pretty well with. Now I'm going to send the freight 336 up over the inclines and then park it there, and then run the passenger one on the lower loop. So in all fairness, in your voting process, the freight train is going to get a little more run time. And yet hopefully, you'll get to see and enjoy both of them in action. It was a real pleasure to have these two come through at the same time. It was incredible how close in the extent of work that both needed. It's a real gratifying experience now to have these revived. Just to let you know, they're set to run at about 10 volts measured at the railhead while operating. Either of these, if you approach 12, 13 volts, is flying, and I have not taken it to full speed because I'm afraid what that might be. But I'm pretty sure they'd be what you might consider flipping fast, as in not able to stay on the tracks and curbs where they put to full speed. And once again, proudly owning up to their name of American Flyer. So without any further ado, let me just put in a shameless plug. If you'd like more information about Precision Flyer repairs, please go to my website at precisionflyerrepairs.com or email me about work you might want done on your trains. And on my website, there's also a contact page with an easy to fill out form. You can drop me a line that way. Also, thanks so much for watching my videos, this one in particular. I hope you enjoy them. If you'd like to know when I post new material, click on subscribe, the bell, and the word all, ALL, and you'll receive those notifications. All right, let's see what these are like in action and allow the voting to begin. Here we go. Like I said, everything's preset, so hopefully I got the reverse units and whatnot set for this to happen. Here goes our first candidate. They're both hardy smokers. Manage the twisty bits pretty well. As you can see here on the voltmeter, just registering a little bit over 10 volts at the railhead. Now let's send this one up on the incline. Just enough power to make a smooth, steady, strong pull, but hopefully not too much now on the way down to cause any derailments or problems. So far so good, and off she goes again. Oh, one thing these both do feature, and I would be remiss not to take advantage of, is that famous, or infamous, depends how you look at it, American Flyer by Gilbert air chime whistle. That's it. Get out your imaginations now. That was quite a whistle, don't you think? Okay. And we're going to send it up to the incline, at which point then we're going to freeze it in action. Okay, we'll leave that one there. And as I said, with any luck now, once I get these switches straightened out, I should say, not all of them straight. Let's see what happens here with this one. Now, this one has passenger cars that are illuminated. It draws a little more power, of course, than the one with the freight cars that are not illuminated. So I may have to adjust the throttle on this one on the fly, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, it's drawing a lot of current, of course, with those illuminated cars, and still getting the same amount of power that the first one did without any illuminated cars to take power away from it with. But it's doing pretty well. I don't think I'm going to mess with anything. It's not getting the full share of power the first one did, but it's just as capable of strong, smooth, fast and smoky running as the first one, I assure you. And let's fire off its air chime whistle while we're at it. A little slightly different tune, but the same melody, if you will. And there she goes. So now it's up to you. Which of these fine 484s did you find most enjoyable? The one with the freight or the one with the passenger cars in tow? But in any case, I think you have to agree. These are a couple of terrific engines that we're so fortunate to have had given to us and provided to us, and now still with us from the A.C. Gilbert Company way back in the early to mid 1950s. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, be well and have fun running your trains.